Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, patch 3.55a is here, and man, do we have a show. That's the best way I could think to put it. Take that, good, bad, however you will. Oh, by the way, Sly, people got to see a little bit of your dancing at the start of the show. I'm okay, I'm just making sure you know.
Yeah, glad they could.
I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy at Popo. Of course, joining me is Sly, aka Slythefox, aka Sly, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. How you doing, Sly?
Meh.
I don't blame. So I'm gonna Sly. Let me know before the show. He's in super exhausted mode. That
and a pretty boring match.
Combined.
I'm not even gonna mince words about it.
I prefer to just mince onions and put them in my stew.
What kind of stew?
Beef.
Good move.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, so that's gonna be the primary topic for today's stream. Is gonna be 3 point. We have some other fun things to mention. Some obviously with the new format, which I hope those of you on YouTube enjoyed the new format, because I did remember to do annotations for it, so that way people could jump from topic to topic. A long requested thing for State of the Realm. Even Sly's told me to do that. I didn't do it. Sly's like, Haps, have you ever thought of doing that? Like, he goes to the comment section, reads, like, Sly, I mean, yeah, I'm Sly now. It's like, Mike, have you ever thought of doing that? And be like, yeah, but it takes a while. So now it's a lot easier to do. So hopefully, and this is what it looks like with only 2 people on, which is, this is our first time seeing that. So we're like diagonal from each other. I can look down at you like this. So that way when I'm upset with you, I'm already looking down. No, you gotta look the other way. There you go. There you go. Awesome. All right. But anyway, the topic of the show is, as everyone would have guessed it, is going to be patch 3.55a.
Is it really a patch though?
No, it's half a patch actually.
Yeah.
3.55a and 3.55b.
Hell, I wouldn't even call it half a patch.
Hey, there's anima nerfs here. That's a patch. To be honest, that probably was the best part of the patch for the people who are on the Umbright step.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start by going through the patch notes for the most part, and that's how we're gonna sort of break this apart. That being said, expect us to go off on a few tangents because our hot topic for the day is not going to be the first thing that we talk about, because I just changed the scene to say 3.55a, so I want to wait a little longer. Because last week when I was doing them, like the first 4 overlays I made were like gone in seconds, because it was like, okay, intro, then topic, then hot news, then current topic, and it just like burned through them all right from the beginning. Well, I think it's only fair, and it's funny because I have to change it anyway, I think. It's only fair that we talk about the anima weapon first, because the very first quest on the patch notes is something we're going to save for a little bit later. So, Sly, I have a really important question for you.
Sure.
When you're following a story, right?
Uh-huh.
And the story tells you it's over.
I know where you're going.
And then
I know where you're going.
And then about, a few weeks later, here is the next step. Why do you think when they did the 270 step, they went out of their way to tell us it was over, when they had actually already officially commented and said, hey, there's another step after this one?
This is basically the story of 3.0 in terms of not only, plot completion, but actual game completion in terms of,
game sense, I think. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really know where it wants to be.
Exactly, because we have a few plot points that are completed that saw a little bit of completion, but really are still incomplete, in my opinion. And this one, the anima, we kind of knew that we were going to, like you say we're done, but we kind of knew that we were going to get this last step to make it pretty much 275. Some cases best in slots, some not.
No, it will always be. There's no way the only way this weapon isn't BIS is if you just said fuck it and put Det Parry on the whole thing. There's no way that like people. There's no way they didn't do it.
Well,
right.
I came to find out that there was like because of for goons, I guess Derby released like new stat weights and everything, and went back and looked at mine, and mine were a little bit different, so it might not be official best in slot, but
Luckily, you can change it.
yeah.
And they just nerfed the Umbrite step, so you're good to go. That was the step where you
Do
changed
you
the stats.
honestly think I'm going to go back and
Yes, you will.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will.
No,
To be fair,
gonna...
there's really no reason to. I mean, don't you already have
Exactly.
the Alexander? You already have the Alexander spear.
Yeah, yeah. Like
what's the Alexander spear have on it?
But Tet and it doesn't have crit. I'm trying to remember what it has. I can't.
Luckily,
remember.
the chat will tell us if we are unable to remember.
But one question that's on my mind: how far? Not only speaking of anima, let's start with anima. How far do you think this is going to take us in 4.0?
So that's actually a question I got a lot today because now the quest is complete.
Yeah,
complete. I'm hoping. And a lot of the point of the anima weapon is that it's supposed to be this we've created a living being that travels alongside us and learns and powers up. So does that matter? Like, am I just gonna go into Eureka and say like, this weapon, it means so much to me. Destroy it. Give me something better. The anima's gonna be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I thought we were friends. No, I have you as a minion. I'm getting rid of this piece of shit. All right? Can you increase the item level? No? Then shut the fuck up. I got to take care of this. All right? You know what I mean? So
that just speaks to gear progression in general. What we would hope for and wish for a kind of gear progression for all these sentimental items that we worked so hard on and grinded Umbrites before they got nerfed and did all the shit before it got nerfed. And this is my weapon that I've had for the majority of 3.0. And now it's completely useless. Like, do you ever think we'll get that kind of gear progression to where we can actually take our weapons that we quote unquote have sentimental value for and
actually there's actually already a way to do that.
Don't say
Glamour. I'm so sentimental about this. I will glamour it and I will wear it forever. And then like a patch later you're like, it's not really in style right now.
Sure.
Oh man.
Because I think of something, and we were talking about this game earlier. I think of something like Neo and what they do with soul matching. Yeah, that would be kind of a good.
This entire quest line was soul matching. That's why so those quests have those names. Soul without life.
Yeah.
That accurately describes my feelings in in completion. But now let's talk. So I mentioned the Umbrite nerf. So real quick, we were predicting recently what those nerfs would actually be. They seem to have gone the simplest possible route. They cut the cost for it in half with lore tomestones. Lore is still the only way to get them. And they added an additional way to get crystal sands in that you trade, I think it's one of each, a bone, a shell, a seed, and what's the last one?
Bone, shell, seed.
I have the patch notes right here, and yet I am not using them. Ore. I should know ore. I get those from maps all the time. Like, those just drop from maps nonstop. So yeah, and so now you can trade one of each of those items for a crystal sand, which, in case you're wondering, for beast tribe quests, it's one bone, shell, or seed, depending on which beast tribe it is, per one token. So you could feasibly, if just looking at a Realm Reborn, you could even just do 3 sands a day if you had those all capped out without even having to do the leave trick or gatherer scripts or crafter scripts or any of that stuff, which are still the better methods in my opinion.
Or you probably have the currency stacked up anyway because you do beast tribes on a daily.
I literally just spent about 300 beast tribe tokens on ventures because I was just like, why do I have all of these? Like, I had 98 steel amel jocks and I think I had like 61 Vanu white bones or something like that.
They're sitting in my retainers right now.
Yeah. Oh man. Maybe it's just the Realm Reborn. I mean, maybe it's just the The Heavensward ones. But
Heavensward.
It was one each. I thought it was one each. Maybe it's more per each one. I guess it depends on which beast tribe it is. I don't remember, but either way, it's just a new way to get sand. That's good. It's the simplest way they could have nerfed the Umbrite. It sucks for people who bought who've been buying Umbrites this whole time, thinking it was gonna be like maybe like the thing I suggested, and then it's this, and they're like, I could have just saved all that lore.
Well, congratulations.
Now you got to go do A1 Savage. Because guess what? That step hasn't changed. Granted, that was a pretty easy step. So I can't really say.
Now, one thing we've kind of overlooked within the anime, and it's pretty much easy to overlook, it really didn't like differentiate like aesthetically from what it was in the last step.
Yeah, I'm colorblind, so adding more color to it doesn't do much for me.
Right.
I had a really hard. I mean, I could tell it was different, but it wasn't crazy different. Some of them looked better though. The Warrior Axe is still a level 14 Warrior Axe, but it looks like a better level 14 Warrior Axe.
The only thing about the spear, it had a different hue. That was it. It was like.
I'm glad you could enjoy it because I can't.
So yeah, it really, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't done it yet, it's pretty much going to look like your 270 weapon. Not much difference.
Not much difference. Well, it's not. It's got a difference. Some of the weapons absolutely look better. I know I've seen a lot of paladins say they preferred the 270 over the 275. But for my monk fists, like it just looks like they have like plastic wrap around them now. To me.
Yeah, I saw the monk fist.
That's how they look to me, but that's because my eyes are awful.
Right.
And it just looks like somebody was like, "Hey, can we put some like green liquid in a plastic bag and just wrap it around the weapon?" Yeah.
That's a good description. That's a really good.
Is it? I wonder how many other monks will really agree with me on that. That's just me though. You know, it's like my eyes are stupid. I'm not gonna say that's how it looks. I'm just gonna say that's how I perceive it. If it's even green, I don't know. I didn't ask anybody. I'm just guessing. Somebody can tell me because I got nothing. Completely worthless. As for the new step itself to take it from 270 to 275. When I hear the term victory lap, I guess I didn't expect to take it so literally.
Agreed.
It was actually a lap.
A lap of primals.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Like you did every single hard mode primal. Started from 2.0 up to where we are now in 3.0. You started from the 2.0 primals, 3.0 primals, Bismarck, Ravana, and then the Warring Triad. All hard modes. All can be done unsynced. It will probably.
Well, no, you can only do the Realm Reborn ones unsynced.
Yeah, the Realm Reborn ones unsynced. The 3.0, like even still, goes by really quick. It took me, just because of people leaving the party and everything, it took me about 45 minutes.
It took me about 20. Nobody left our party.
Yeah.
They skipped Nidhogg and Thornton. Thornton was a strange skip to me. I guess just because he was. I don't know. I feel like they could have put Thornton. There might be a good reason. Nidhogg and Thornton were a lot more like not really reproducible primals, I guess, by the measure. Like Thornton, story wise, is a one and done. What's it called? Nidhogg is a one and done. But you have those are the ones that when you go to rematch them, you're not rematching them. You're rematching the minstrels version of them. Whereas, Bismarck and, Bismarck, Ravana, all the other ones, theoretically, the hard mode is just a resummonable thing. It just depends on, the level of crystals that's being used. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's probably why, because the whole point of you teaching your animal weapon about its existence was you showing how it was different from a primal.
What's similar.
But it was obviously created from pure ether, which we've been taught is bad. Mm-hmm. But it was almost fearful of its own existence in a sense. So you needed to take it to show it all of the different ones. The Warring Triad is kind of weird because technically those are also one and dones. Like when we refight them, we're not refighting them; we're refighting a hologram of them. So I guess that doesn't really hold water. But that's the way I interpreted it. That's the best I could do in terms of interpreting it. But that's it. And then you need to buy an item with that costs either 1,000 lore or 1,000 poetics. Your choice.
That's it.
Literal lap with a finish line that cost 1,000 lore poetics.
And most people already have that. If you don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Just do some ARF or something, I don't know. But yeah, most people pretty much had lore stored up unless they were buying lore mats or anything like that and selling them.
So it's funny you say that. I had enough after an expert roulette, but I was not.
Okay.
I did not have them ready for that because I promised myself I wasn't going to sit there and hold on to lore and poetics for this because they told us it would be so easy, and I don't regret it.
Yeah, I was pretty much capped out. I was waiting for this step to actually go back and then start buying lore mats to put on the market, and it was a good move.
Yeah, good call. Oh man, the market boards have been fantastic for me. Segue, dude. You know what I've been doing now? And I'm just ready to ruin markets. Okay, so here's what I've been doing. I'm trying to level my desynthesis, right? Goldsmith's at 250 now. Leatherworker's at 226. Weaver's at 224. I've been buying Expeditioner's gear, High House gear, Replica Allagan gear, and just desynthing it and just selling the shit back. And then it's like a circle, and I make money doing this. So Fieldcraft 3s are like 38K. Battlecrafts are like 14 to 16. Dinosaur leather was like 28K or something like that. Pterodactyl leather was worth like 25K. And I would just do that, and now all my markets are gone. So I got to find something different now because I just said it out loud. I was in the middle of doing that yesterday, and then somebody who was watching went and bought a bunch. They went and bought all the ones I was about to go buy, and I was like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" And then they were like, "No, I do this all the time." Shifty out.
I actually just started working on my carpenter decent. Yeah, I actually started cleaning out my retainers, converting.
Oh my god, I started doing that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I cleaned out my retainers of all the gear I had over like the last some odd years. Converted some material, put material on the board, decents, whatever I could on carpenter, and probably over the weekends, if not like late at night while I'm watching anime, I'll probably be leveling my crafters.
Yeah. So. I now have 2 crafters at level 60, and I'm working on the third, Goldsmith and Alchemy.
Okay.
I'm working on Carpenter now, and my Bard is at 56, so I'm well on my way to the everything 60 goal. Well on my way.
Yeah, I got 46% done with my crafters. I still got 54.
Why do you have such an exact percent of that?
It's
46%.
Yeah, you take the you add up all the 60s and take the levels that you.
I was gonna say, yeah, but why do you have that percentage fresh? Like, when did you calculate the 46%?
When I was cleaning out my retainers and decided to do this bullshit.
Okay, because that sounds like my calculations when I talk about my heritage. And you've heard that calculation before.
Oh God, yes.
Where I'm like, well, each parent for me is 50%. I don't do it out of 100, so I break it out. Like, I got all these rules and shit. Okay.
Right.
All right. So the animal weapon. Did you do yours? You did.
Yeah,
you 40. I didn't know if you bought the item or not. Yeah, you said.
Yeah, I already bought the item. Yeah.
Okay. Is that you're only doing the Dragoon one?
Yep. Fuck everything else. Like, no, I'm not crazy enough to start a second one or do a 4th or 5th one like some crazy people are.
Oh, I know people who have like 7 of them. Now.
Congratulations. I mean, Congratulations. Good job. I mean, like, you have the time to do that many animas. Sure, go ahead and do it.
So let's be honest. We have the time. We just choose not to.
Exactly.
Oh man. There was something I was gonna say right there that I totally forgot. But that's fine because I don't think it was important regardless. All right. So the next thing for patch 3.55a wasn't even available today.
Yep.
Sly Aliapo. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. I mean, it is crafting and gathering. It resets weekly, so for them, that's always Thursday content.
Thursdays, yeah.
But we finally have some, I guess, more solid information about these custom deliveries that you're able to do via Sly Aliapo. So apparently, weekly custom deliveries. You can do 6 of them per week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you could do seeking custom deliveries to confirm which items they require first. Up to 6 deliveries can be made in a given week. Each delivery gives you a little bit of reputation with the NPC, some gil, some blue scripts, and some red scripts. Considering that I am of the thought that scripts are going away in the expansion, or I would at least like to hope they are, the fact that they are now in 3.55A, giving us more access to blue and red, and they keep talking about expanding on this later.
Scripts aren't going away, are they?
Our scripts not going. Here's the thing: it's not that they couldn't just change the reward to level 60 or level 70 type rewards, and they just don't have blue and red scripts. You know, I don't know what the plan is there. But, or maybe they're just going to do it a better. Maybe they're just still going to use it, but it'll just be better.
Better how?
I mean, not as obnoxious, like like doing 99 of those stupid tokens for blue scripts. Or the way that, or just not using them for things like favors. Or just somehow making that a less...
Or getting rid of favors altogether.
Yeah, like just not using those, using it for something else.
Yeah.
Deep blue, deep red scripts, there you go. Oh, man. But yeah, and you basically create these custom items for the NPC, and when you hand them in, you get little hearts, and as you go up in hearts, you get new story and background dialogue. So it's almost like an interactive Moogle delivery.
Yeah.
Quest, which was...
I mean,
I never did those, but I know the story.
I mean, little bits of lore about certain NPCs is good. This is kind of a unique way to go about it through crafting and gathering. One thing I was actually surprised a little bit by, and it may not surprise a lot of people. It definitely surprised me was that you have your disciples in hand and disciples in land, and then Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher's who gives a shit? They're not disciples of hand. Fuck them. They're something else.
Yeah. And
5 new fish have been added to the fishing log, specifically for these deliveries.
Yeah.
Which, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm cool with more crafting and gathering stuff, because I think the more important lesson here is they're trying to reduce the amount of mundane activities you do with crafting and gathering. Like, no matter what, crafting is crafting, gathering is gathering, but they're not trying to tell you to go out and specifically wait for certain nodes every half hour or every hour to get these scripts in order to progress. Like,
that's why you use timers for that.
You still have to actually wait for time to pass, though. Like, you're like, well, that's the only thing I want to do, and I'm sitting here waiting. And yes, they eventually added...
No, you just look at the timer, you know, go off, do whatever you need to do some chores, cook.
Sly, I'm going to ask you a real question about timers. Yesterday, you had 12 minutes before the servers went down, and you went into Palace of the Dead. Did you complete it?
I completed it, and then once I got out, like the second I got out, I get kicked off the server.
I was going to say, because I was going to say, you and time do not go well together, considering how close you were trying to cut it there.
Yeah, I mean, but it was a 51 or 60. Like, I knew we were cutting it close to begin with, and even the people in the party within POTD just said 5 minutes. Fuck a cursed lord. Let's go. Yeah.
I mean, pretty much what your only options for scripts, and maybe there's other avenues I just don't know of, but you had the hand-ins, but they added like hand-ins that weren't hourly, so you could go out feasibly and just spam core jewels and grab those like that in between the sets. But ultimately, it's different activity kind of altogether than doing stuff for Slyh. And on top of that, let's be honest, story is one of the best motivators in Final Fantasy XIV for the majority of the player base. That's why Coil has been such a big topic, like the way they handled the story there.
Yeah.
So I am a fan of systems like this for crafters or gatherers in particular, because it gives them almost a sense of like importance, progression, and like it's building on a system that is already loved by a lot of people and giving it actual content with some sort of, you know, return that isn't just, you know, gear that they're going to replace in a patch or something like that. You know, it's a story you can remember and discuss and earn and things like that. And that's the big thing, is outside of Gil, they have something to earn.
All right. And you drew the comparison to Moogle Quest. Do you think this bit of story, this bit of lore will kind of outshine the Moogle quest because people did it people did it either just to do it or just to get the stupid hat.
That's tough. I don't know what kind of stories they've put, but considering Slyh Aleapo is one of the NPCs you could do the custom deliveries for, and a lot of people are curious about the Aleapos. Like we know very little about them.
Yoshi P said that she was in some kind of trouble, and you're going to learn more about that.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, that means she owes Rowena money, and that's trouble for everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, look at Geralt. The whole reason he got pulled into the animal weapon quest line because he owes Rowena money, and then they promised to mass reproduce animal weapons.
So he's still stuck under Rowena's thumb.
Yep. She's like, oh no, all your previous debts taken care of, but you've been teleporting to Az's Law. I was like, how poor, dude? I'll give this guy a loan at this point. Like, I feel bad. And she's like, only tomestones. And I'm like, nope, you're on your own. Fuck that. I'm not paying your debt off in tomestones. I've done enough of that.
Nope.
No way, no how. It's not a dating sim. Come on, chat. It's not the dating sim that they did for April Fools. Speaking of which, April Fools is coming up soon, so we're getting Lords of Verminion 2, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to put it in the game in December. Got it.
Or we're getting another fighting trailer, maybe.
I wonder if, it's going to... No, see, that was barely even April Fools. They just did that at, like, a live letter, the fighting game. That was fantastic. Listen, I'm actually still not okay with the fighting game thing, only because it falls in the same vein.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not. It falls in the same vein as Blitzball, where it's like if I really want to play a fighting
I would
game.
take it.
Now here's the thing: if Capcom develops it and puts it in Final Fantasy 14, if Capcom develops it and puts it in Final Fantasy 14, all right, I can deal with that. But if we
don't make the supers 5 minutes long.
No, we should keep that.
Not Rowena.
Minfilia.
Minfilia's super was like 5 minutes.
So long. I don't think it was Minfilia's super. I think it was Ida's super, and Minfilia popped up in it because I think all the Scions, because it was Ida versus Livia, wasn't it, in the video? Yeah, I think so. There you go. There you go. If Capcom develops it, because it was basically a Street Fighter knockoff, then okay, then we can have it. But otherwise, no, I'm good. I'm good. Definitely. Yeah, April Fool's is going to be the Blitzball trailer. Honestly, that's not even, the thing is, you won't fool me though, because I don't know if, because here's the problem, because just like Lords of Verminion, it's going to be an April Fool's joke that they actually put in the game, and then it's not April Fool's anymore. They actually owe us a year of April Fools because they lied. They weren't fooling. Those fucking liars. Those fucking liars. All right. And then randomly at the bottom, I guess because it has to do with the Aleapos, it mentions that the Feast 8-on-8 matched party, when that is one of your objectives in Wondrous Tales, it's actually been changed to the Feast or the Fold. Yeah. Now, I've spoken a lot about PvP, and we're going to get into PvP a little bit later, although we're going to our hot topic next. Yeah, I've wanted them to bring up all the modes to like the current max level, and I'm hoping to see them do that level 70. I wonder if this is in anticipation of anything along those lines, or bringing the Fold sort of into mainstream Feast, like giving it boxes and shit like that. And I don't know.
What are you thinking at the beginning of the new season? Maybe?
No, I feel like that's something we won't, if we do see it, it wouldn't be until the expansion comes out. Okay. Not that there's anything special about the Fold, but you can modernize it, you know. I feel you could probably modernize the Fold to make it, you know, good.
But the Fold is...
Still can't talk in it, though.
Yeah, you still can't talk in it, but the Fold is pretty much just a training ground.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe they have plans for that. Maybe that's where they want you to do your PvP practice mode or something like that, you know.
Because the majority of people, like, when we actually could use our words...
It's also worth mentioning that there is no 8v8 of the Fold, and yet it's mixed in with the Feast the Fold. Although, to be fair, it says the Feast the Fold implies you could do 4-man as well. I guess they're just making sure you could queue into any mode. You get credit for it. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll see. That's not much we could really look into. But the next thing on the patch notes, this is our definite hot topic of the day. And as you can see, it's getting Sly heated already. And that is going to be... Proto Ultima. Sly, remember how I said I didn't want to go right to Proto Ultima because I didn't want to switch the slide so many times? I forgot to switch it for the animal weapon. So I just had to do that now anyway. So Acknowledging it first, though. So Proto Ultima was in this patch. Sly, before
Was he?
no,
Was
Sly,
he?
we're gonna handle this like adults.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was definitely there.
Or
He was there all right.
yeah.
Sly, we're gonna handle this like adults. So we're gonna do this in an orderly fashion,
Okay.
and we're going to
try.
approach it. To understand Proto Ultima now,
I can try.
we need to go back to the beginning.
And the beginning was what? FanFest?
North American Fan Festival.
Okay.
So Sly, you and I, that was the first thing we did. You and I immediately jumped in. We were the first group to fight Proto Ultima. We were the first group to kill Proto Ultima.
Well, first.
World first. All right, we're calling it. So we're world first right here.
Yep.
You know. So when we did the fight, it was a 24-man trial.
Mm-hmm.
We queued into its own unique instance that I've never seen anywhere else in the game that looked fucking amazing.
It looked amazing, but oddly familiar at the same time.
Well, I guess because it looked like it belonged in as a Slyh.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah. So, and it took us about 7 minutes to land the kill on Proto Ultima. It was only one attempt, but it was about a 7-minute attempt.
Yeah.
To kill Proto Ultima. And we left basically, it was like Ultima, but it had a few extra things. There's a lot of AoEs. Mostly the Pillars of Light was the toughest part.
Kept getting people killed. Yeah. In the resume. What item level were we at the time?
We were 260.
Okay.
Full I-260. And that, from what I can tell from speaking to people who just went to Europe, that was consistent. They were also full item level 260. Now, as much as I would love to say that that is representative of how difficult Proto Ultima was at Fan Festival, I have watched other videos of the groups that had did it after, had beaten it, and then gone back and beat it again as a group of people who already knew all the mechanics. And full I-260, an average of about 3 to 3.5 minutes for the encounter. With characters that you only give you like 5 minutes to mess around with, the hot bars and the key binds, and some people are on, PlayStation 4s, but they never played on one before. Some people, I don't know.
You still have keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, but let me tell you, the PS4 ran like shit at our FanFest. I was like, this is awful.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I kept looking at you, and I was like, I fucking can't believe. I've never gotten on a PC at either of the FanFest. All the events I've done, I've been on a fucking PS4 every time.
And you hated it.
And I don't know. It's like Matt and them know I'm getting in fucking line. They're like, send them to the PS4. It's gonna be fucking funny. It's like, and they were like, something wrong with the PS4? No, but just watch. I promise, it'll be entertaining. That's how it feels. Considering what they did to Mel at PAX West when she was like, no, I don't want to play. I'm just here to watch. And then they just didn't put anyone in her spot. And they were just like, I don't know. And they just walked away. And then she was like, God damn it. They're fucking making me play. That was fun. Good PAX West. Thanks, guys. Thanks, team. Thanks, Colby. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Devin. Two of you don't even work there anymore. I'm still thanking you. Sad face. All right.
That's bad, man.
So So that's how it was at FanFest for Proto Ultima.
Not really epic. Again,
I thought the arena was epic.
The arena was epic, but the fight itself not as epic as, say, Odin was at 2014 FanFest, where everybody was clearing by the skin of their teeth and like excited to actually clear it, because it was, for what it was at FanFest, really difficult. Like, not only like really difficult, but difficult enough to where it was still a good fight. Talking about FanFest, wasn't Odin. I wouldn't even say it was face roll, but we cleared it. We one-shot it.
Right. Now, the biggest difference between the Proto Ultima at Fan Festival and the Proto Ultima that joined the live game was actually not the difficulty.
Nope.
It was where he appeared and how. So
straight garbage.
So to elaborate on that, Proto Ultima, so at the very top of the patch notes was a quest called Unidentified Flying Object. The quest, I just call it the UFO quest. And I saw that quest and I went, oh, that's cool. It has to do with Freedom of Our Skies and Dunscaith. So maybe it's a continuation of, you know, the characters that we interacted with there, you know? I feel like that's a fair assessment. And then I scrolled down to Proto Ultima and I was like, oh yeah, just like they said, there's no details on where to find him and where to fight him. After I had read through all the patch notes, I had recorded a video, you know, talking about it. As soon as I hit public, I went, wait a minute. UFO, Dunscaith, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe you just need to beat Dunscaith in order to get access to Proto Ultima. Nope. Proto Ultima replaced the succubus trash mob just after the second boss inside of Dunscaith.
Can we have her back?
Maybe.
Please?
I'll ask at PAX East if we can have the succubus back. So basically what happens is after you clear out Ferdiad Hollow and you start running towards where the succubus was before, as you're running up the steps, Proto Ultima shoots laser beams at the steps like that as you walk up it. And then eventually a giant laser all the way at the top. And then when you jump across, he's there waiting for you. I was like, oh, he's not, okay, interesting. Okay, well, you know, just because he's here, I mean, that's cool. You know, maybe, you know, maybe he'll be hard.
And he completely melted once you touched him.
Yeah. No, considering a lot of people are in like I-270 stuff versus I'm getting mixed reports of I-250. I'm getting mixed reports of I-250, I-260. Some people swear up and down it was I-260. You know, it is possible on some days at fan festivals, what they'll do is on the first day, they'll give you 250. They'll give you like a lower item level, and then based on clear rates, they'll increase the item level for the day after. Or they've done things like that to adjust it. I remember they had really low clear rates of, I think it was Ravana at one of the events. And then the second day they like changed something. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was higher item level gear. And the clear rates went up. I don't remember what it was precisely.
That was only Ravana hard mode, right?
Yeah. But it was at a completely random event, you know, with no sort of, yeah, it took most groups, I know, about 90 to 120 seconds to just straight up murder Proto Ultima in there.
And then you're just left wondering, is that it? I mean, is he going to come back at the end of the dungeon? I mean, is that really it? And, like, we know, because we've done the complete fight, we knew that was pretty much it. That was all.
Yeah. Let me be perfectly clear. They got rid of one mechanic.
The pillars?
The pillars.
Unless...
No. The pillars happen very early into the Proto Ultima fight at Fan Fest.
Unless you are, like, really fucking trash and, like, it's based off of DPS, skip pillars or get the fuck out. It's not even that.
Yeah, skip pillars or disband.
Yeah. So it's not even that. You
There
just
you
don't
go.
see them at all.
Skip pillars and disband. So,
Yeah.
Sly, I want to pick your brain a little bit here. You and I were expecting a 24-man trial. We were excited at the idea of them finally taking this avenue and, you know, experimenting with that. They did no such thing.
Right.
Why do you think Proto Ultima ended up as a trash mob in Dunscaith?
As a trash mob, I can't say. Now, like, looking back at it, really...
Apparently the pillars are still there. Apparently I didn't even get to fucking see them.
Exactly. Okay, so it is a skippable thing. Being in Dunscaith kind of made sense. It made sense because really, unless they're actually going to do like an Ozma Savage, which I really still don't think is going to happen, it would have been the first 24-man standalone trial. And like trying to get people, I mean, if you put weekly rewards on it and everything, that's fine. But trying to get people just to do a 24-man trial seems kind of difficult, in my opinion, because, you know, it's just a trial. It's just a 2-3 minute thing, and it's going to get left alone in obscurity. The only way you can really avoid that, and I think this is the avenue they took, was just by putting it into a 24-man raid. You already have the 24 men. You already have 24 people. just go ahead and put it in our current 24-man, which is Dunscape.
So, I agree with that. My question is, they went out of their way to make an instance for this guy.
At an event.
And an event. So, well, I don't really, yeah, I guess, what do you mean by event? Do you mean?
Yeah, like, just
you mean
at
FanFest? Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's their, like, generic test arena for, like, bosses or some shit, and they just...
So, they, like, were we guinea pigs for Odin in 2014? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because at the time, we really weren't expecting, when we were talking about it, we really weren't expecting Odin to be our trial at FanFest. We were expecting something completely different, something we hadn't seen before.
And you know what? The thing we were expecting, I still remember them saying how that was the original idea and they didn't do it. And I'm still upset it wasn't the battle at FanFest, which was a battle against the 4 2.0 Garlean generals at once. I would have loved that. And I still would love that, by the way.
That's still a possibility for 4.0.
You know what? It's been a possibility for years now. And it's
for the longest time.
So,
I mean, we're getting closer to Garlean, but either way, it was a complete opposite. You took something that was a fate out in the Shroud, and then you put him as a boss, and you took something, you know, completely standalone that we haven't seen anywhere in a 24-man, and then you put him in the current 24-man. Complete polar opposites of each other. I really would have preferred an 8-man. Just a simple 8-man. I don't know who or what it would have been. Hell, you could have even done Proto Ultima as an 8-man. Like, seriously, you can get probably 2 alliances to quit, do it as an 8-man, maybe see pillars, and still get through, like, no problem.
Yeah. So, let's just be clear. I didn't have high expectations for Proto Ultima.
I had expectations, period.
So for me, I guess the big disappointment. So let's be clear. He apparently, because he has pillars, he is the exact same difficulty as the FanFest one. Let us not shit about that. He was not easier. He was not easier. He was not harder. He was literally the exact same difficulty. Yeah.
And they promised that he would be a little bit more difficult. And how? I mean, can you really blame it on gear itself, on everybody being over geared? I mean,
oh yeah, and actually, a lot of people, especially on a Tuesday when like it's new content, all the people that do have I-270 shit are like, this was the fastest Dunscape I've ever had today. Literally, I like the life gate. I think it was on its like second to last life by the time the 2 tiny doors had even spawned. Like I don't like the fights just melted. I don't even think we got 2 gates in Ferdiad Hollow in the last phase or some shit. Like everything just disintegrated because the people who came out to play it today were the people who are super geared and who, you know, take their DPS and their performance pretty friggin' seriously. So
people were actually looking forward to doing like a world first. And
I know they were.
You could kind of say that actually happened. Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. But at the same time, they were even like, "Is that it? World first?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, at least you get 270 stuff. So, where was I going to go with that? So he's not. I would honestly like to go into a Dunscape minimum item level, and generally I'd like to do a minimum item level Dunscape in general. Like I think all of Dunscape would be pretty interesting at minimum item level.
I'd still like to see a 24 warrior.
I mean, that's you can't do that yet. You're gonna have to wait till 4.0 for that.
Yeah, like. And that's one thing that really took away from this, like putting it in Dunscape. At FanFest, we got to see 24 warriors take it up. Like that uniqueness, that kind of creativity in taking on a trial like this, and we can't see that right now because, you know, it's in a 24 man.
Yeah, I think ultimately it's the execution inside of Dunscaith, but I do respect the decision because of queue time issues. I just I don't think it was even, it was barely even worth like it wasn't worth hiding. It wasn't worth hiding like,
No.
oh, we're just adding Proto Ultima, we're not going to really tell you where he is. Just fucking say we replaced the succubus with Proto Ultima in Dunscaith. Just say it. Like why like none of the secrecy. Just that's not something that's worth hiding. And
do you think the secrecy kind of hurt a few people's feelings a little bit more?
I feel like it did. I feel like people would have appreciated more if they were upfront about it. But two, I think they were almost afraid to tell people that they just like shoehorned it in.
Yeah, because it looked and felt lackadaisical on the part of the developers.
It just wasn't really a content piece worth talking about. For me, it's not in any way indicative of Stormblood's content. Because it was the same difficulty as as it was at FanFest. It was just that we're, not on these shitty characters with like I-250 to I-260 or whatever, that we have 5 minutes to map. I didn't even keybind like 6 to 7 abilities because I was just like, that fuck it, I didn't have enough time.
Yeah. Do you think this is kind of the devs kind of looking towards the future, just saying, okay, you asked for this, you got it, and then just pretty much putting all their efforts towards Stormblood? I mean, the final patch, they're probably pretty much almost done with it. We're getting the 3.55B in a few weeks, but it's safe to say that they're pretty much wrapping up the final patch and just moving on to Stormblood. So do you think in part them just looking forward rather than just actually being lazy about it?
Yeah, I don't think it's lazy because like it's the same fight. You know what they said? They said you will get the fight from FanFest, and they did. They gave us the fight from FanFest, and they gave it to us in such a way.
But didn't they mention difficulty?
Beefing it up. They mentioned the beefing it up. Yeah. Apparently, they mentioned beefing it up in one source, and then at a different source they did not. So, yeah. Obviously, they weren't going to beef it up to be stronger than the bosses, but I just think more transparency would have been appreciated here if they hadn't let as soon as you give a community they to speculate over appearance and approach and execution. Everyone will always create expectations that are higher probably than you deliver, unless you really, really fucking deliver. When you leave people in the dark for so long about what your actual approach is. If they had just come out and said, listen, like as soon as they revealed Proto Ultima, if they had just said, hey, we know it's a trial here, but we're thinking of doing this because we don't want to, like, just say that the first time. And all the confusion, all the expectation, everyone just already knows what to expect. And there's no sort of confusion about it when it does happen. There's no sort of like lack of, of excitement for it. Everyone's like, okay, well, he's there every week. That's cool that they're willing to change dungeons like that and things like that. It's a very different thing if you're just a little more transparent about it.
But there are times when the lack of transparency actually kind of works out to draw up hype, and it's something you don't expect, but something that turns out to be actually really good for content and for players. Like, I can live with them, playing a few things close to the chest at times, but if you're
going to tell us that this is going in the game, at least give us the whole picture.
Yeah, with something like this, I would have appreciated them being more straightforward about it. It wasn't really worth keeping secret. Like something like completely a new fight, new feature. Yeah, that's worth playing close to the chest and just holding on to it, maybe for the patch notes.
Yeah. Now, the community has the idea that Proto Ultima may appear in a different Heavensward 24-man each week. Like, maybe he replaces the third trash pack of the Void Ark, which would be the Hellhounds. Which to me is kind of strange because Diablos specifically appears at that point. But, I mean, it's an idea, whatever. And then some people think maybe he'll replace one of the trash packs in the Weeping City the following week. It doesn't explicitly say the quest only happens, and actually it might. I have to reread the text. I don't believe it specifically mentions Dunscaith as the only location this can happen. It specifically says that Proto Ultima mistook Void energy for Primal energy and went to Dunscaith to eliminate the threat, or to eliminate it or absorb it or whatever he's there to do.
That's the lore, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the lore. And
saying that he'll skip over to different places, he's still, no matter what, going to be a trash.
It's still Proto Ultima, and it's still the same trash.
Yeah.
That's
So
Sly.
it's nothing different.
That's Sly.
What?
We're talking about how, we mowed him over in 90 seconds, 3 minutes, whatever. Would you believe if I told you that many, many people have actually had vote abandons on Proto Ultima? Not because they were disappointed with his difficulty, but because they were unable to defeat him.
I could believe it a little.
What's a little? Give me a percentage.
Like 30%.
It's
a small percentage. I just find it hard to believe that you could struggle on this. It just goes to show having prior knowledge about it helps. Again, for the first time, people are actually seeing this. Some people have seen footage through the North American live stream or any of the live streams of people actually doing it, and they can kind of figure out for themselves, what to do mechanics wise or everything. Again, for the first time, I learned that pillars are like sword. You can skip that shit. If you don't, just vote abandon.
So what I've seen, from what I've heard, what generally causes the wipe is when DPS is so bad, pillars just stack. That was the number one killer at FanFest also.
Yeah.
When the average DPS is so low that you get the pillar mechanic, and the people with the pillars just stand in the middle of the room under all the DPS, the healers, and just murder everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah. And then on top of that, then it'll go into the air phase. Not enough people will be alive to stack in the center of the room. And then you have people who maybe don't run far enough to the edge, or they run too far to the edge. Then you have people who just are missing health. Healers are dead. I've seen
hitting in rage.
So apparently Supernova isn't lethal. Even if you fail that DPS check at the end, it is not lethal.
He'll still just go on doing
the fight actually will continue. It is not necessarily lethal. So, yeah, it's, you know what? My heart goes out to those of you who have suffered losses. I've seen other people literally just claim wipes, but I have seen some people claim vote abandons.
Personally speaking, I just feel bad for the majority of the community, the ones who weren't able to go to FanFest, because even though it's the same fight as FanFest, I don't know, maybe because of the environment, it was a little bit more hype than it is now.
I wasn't really that hype about Proto Ultima before we did it or after we did it.
I was a little bit hyped. After I did it, we were like, that was pretty easy. It wasn't like Odin. Yeah, it was pretty easy. So basically, me being at FanFest, being able to do it, say I did it at FanFest, world first, yay. That drummed up a little bit of excitement in me. Seeing it now, makes me feel dejected. It could have been so much better.
Oh, man.
Could have been so much better, but,
There could have been anything. It could have been absolutely anything more than it was.
Yeah.
So, it was pretty bad. Oh man,
bring back this.
I'm taking care of a few things in the chat right now. Okay, there we go. All right. Sorry, I had to translate languages, and issue permabans. I'm doing some live chat moderation right here, so I had to learn a new language and moderate chat at the same time. Don't worry, Sly.
Good job, Rosetta-san.
That's the best that I could do.
Yeah.
All right, so we're off Proto Ultima now.
Finally,
believe it or not.
Believe it or not, there was actually other stuff besides Proto Ultima.
Well, the next thing really was PvP.
Yes, the new map. Now, we both have not done it because, I tried.
I didn't feel like queuing in to try and get the random. If anything, I would have liked to have made a custom match to have selected it, because you could choose which map.
Yeah.
You could choose which map when you do custom matches.
Yeah.
There you go. So
Yeah,
I can only repeat the feedback I've heard about the new map.
Okay.
I've heard most people say that they prefer it over the other one. It feels more central. There's a little bit more to play around because of the two little islands off on. It's not really islands, but like the two separated gaps with the bridges. I've heard some people say that the line of sight things in the middle are a little annoying because it's a narrower arena as opposed to the giant circle. But it's definitely a different play feel. It doesn't feel as base campy, I suppose, as the other one.
Okay.
And the general reception is it's been positive, and it's good to have a map that doesn't exist at the Wolves Den itself.
Any feedback in terms of the new buff, the Wolf's Heart kit?
I've heard not a lot about it. That's because people are too busy complaining about other things. So one of the big things that was kind of not missed, but I've only seen it spoken about a few times, is there's new PvP achievements with new rewards in this patch.
Yeah.
There's for kills and assists. There's a minion for kills. There's a title for kills. There's a minion for assists. There's a title for assists. The minion, I believe, is at 300 kills or assists, or maybe it's 300 kills, 1,000 assists. I don't remember. And the title is, I think, at like 5,000 or something.
So that's from current.
Yeah, they just added those.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people are just complaining because healers obviously not really as easy. You know how there was win trading in the feast? I have now seen kill trading, where groups are trying to make 4-on-4 pre-mades, queue in at the same time, and they will sit there the entire match, never pick up medals from each other, and they will just take turns killing each other to try and with everybody getting an assist to try and get the achievements.
You think the devs will pay attention to that?
I think the devs may be
aware.
Yeah, they'll be aware. They'll be aware that that's happening most likely. Kill trading is not something I ever expected to be like. That is some fucking desperate achievement hunting right there.
For a minion. Like, I don't even think it's for the achievement. It's just probably for the
minion. The people that are doing this are probably doing it for. I mean, don't get me wrong. A minion title's great, but the achievement points, dude.
Yeah, I still think the majority are. It's minion, probably.
Everyone loves a minion.
Everyone loves a minion, and I don't know, Ken, because you could sell the wolf pup.
I don't know. These you can't sell. You can't sell achievement minions.
Okay.
Yeah. But the other thing that's here is the sudden death mechanic. Basically.
Yes.
And I like this. I like the sudden death.
Yeah, mechanic, I do too.
Because I hate how often a match will end in a draw. And it's happened fairly frequently for me.
Yeah, I've only seen it maybe 3 times for me. And yeah, it's kind of inconclusive. And when it happened the first time, I said to myself, why wasn't there sudden death?
Yeah.
And
now there is.
Yeah.
So basically, it acts as a 2-minute culling time where the first team to pick up medals wins. So the kill doesn't win it. The picking up of their medals wins it. So theoretically, if somebody dies, but the other team can't get to the medals for some reason, then you still are in it.
Right.
Over the 2-minute time frame of sudden death, which again only happens when both teams have the same amount of medals at the end of the 8-minute match, every 15 seconds for the first minute, you'll gain a marked for culling stack, and then for the entire second minute, you have 5 stacks. If culling time is on and sudden death happens afterwards, it'll reset back down to just 1 stack. And sudden boxes do not appear in sudden death either. So you're just going ham. If you go into the final phase with like a wolf heart kit, it probably feels pretty good.
But even still, a draw is possible after sudden death.
Yeah, if you still somehow the medal count doesn't change after these 2 minutes, you'll get a draw.
Yeah, which highly seems impossible since they're putting culling stacks on you anyway. Yeah, you would really just have to give up, and both teams really had to give up just to even get a draw at that point.
Yeah, because this Wolf Hearts kit is insane. It restores HP over time, MP over time, increases your movement speed, and gives you a flat attack speed buff.
On top of like you probably already having an offensive or defense.
Yeah, if you have an offense or a defense kit on top of this, it's
OP.
Oh yeah, that's it. It doesn't stack. You can't stack this movement speed with sprint, but I mean when your sprint is on cooldown, you still have this movement speed. So
Right.
it also by just so we're clear, the box itself is also much bulkier than the offense the regular kits. So it is a legitimate objective to fight over because it's kind of like fighting over the nodes in the old secure map in the center where it was whoever did the most damage got the full credit for it. Yeah, it's kind of like that. On top of that, they got rid of the medical boxes, which is good because I fucking hated those. They were so dumb. Like, basically, the only way to use a medical box was to break the box, leave it on the ground, and then if you get jumped on or focused, you have to run over to the health to pick it up. And even then,
and that's a lot of setup for that too.
That's a lot of setup. I mean, don't get me wrong, most of the time you could just do it because teams wouldn't even bother fighting over it, but like
Right.
it was just a weird mechanic to have to just leave this health on the ground and just walk over it when you got focused. And like even then, if your healer's asleep, you're still fucked. So let's not kid ourselves on this one. You know, if it was maybe like when somebody steps on it, it's like an AoE heal, it would make more sense. But yeah, you know, I don't miss it.
That might be a future 4.0 feasting.
Who knows? Who knows what the hell they'll do with these supply boxes? They also changed the supply boxes, like where they drop, how often they spawn. And after you've broken one on the arena, it doesn't come back. Yeah. So
it takes a good amount of strategy out of it because people with time, like right on the dot.
Yeah, like here 3 minutes from now is the box, then another 3 minutes is the box. Yeah, this is the last box.
Yeah, people would position themselves like right before the box would hit. So yeah, it takes a good deal of strategy out of it.
I like this. With the black mage, if they see you running for the medical kit, they just LB. Like just as soon as you're getting they just fucking LB right where the medical kit
box.
Is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't even have to LB the box, they LB the medical kit that you're going for.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, go for that medical kit, boy. And done. Now the good news is, Sly, that there is a quick chat option to communicate to your team when you are going to collect the wolf's heart.
Oh my god, no.
It almost replaces real talking. They did not get rid of that. You still cannot talk in the feast.
I want to believe that talking, like the ability to talk, will come back in 4.0.
I really want to believe it, but I just don't. I just don't have that faith.
I have a little bit of faith that it's going to.
I don't have any faith. I don't have any faith, man. You can't even communicate. Like, there's no like monk one to communicate like gathering greased lightning on the boxes. Like that's a strategy. Monks.
That's a little too fucking specific to.
Yeah, but that's a thing that monks used to be able to do, where you would leave all 4 boxes up, and the monk would get 3 stacks of greased lightning before you even go into the fight. So they don't have to use their axe kick to get it. They're already at maximum power going into the start of the fight. Then
going forward, if this is going to be our mainstay in PvP, do you think we should have job specific?
It would be nice. It would be nice. Need MP. Even need MP isn't there.
Yeah.
That's like a really basic one that should exist. But I'm still perplexed the fact that they're still adding more because they keep talking, all this skill bloat going into 4.0. We're going to cut down the abilities and we're going to do this. But we're going to give you 40 new fucking text commands on how to communicate in PvP. I like this one. I got 3 bards in an 8 versus 8 while I was summoner, and none of them played foes, and I couldn't tell them to. That is a perfect
The little
example.
things.
It's the little things. Yeah. Foes, please. Pay on MP, please. TP, please. Right. Oh, sad. Sad face for you as a summoner, unfortunately. So we also got our answer about the next feast season. They said preseason's going to last for 3 or 4 weeks, and they will give us the season 4 start date on the lodestone soon. So it looks like we will have a season 4 prior to the expansion coming out. Yeah.
Do you think it will end before or after expansion?
Probably like the week before expansion. Because
Okay.
it's really weird to end it after, because, come on.
Well, I mean, you have to consider early access.
Yeah, but in early access, no one's going to be like, let me hold my level 60 PvP place. They're going to be like, motherfucker, samurai, let's go. Oh, man. Wasn't it cool? I like this chat comment. Wasn't it cool when you could make strategies in PvP? The
Yeah.
emoji.
Yeah,
The
you
emoji.
remember that?
Yeah. Remember when you would like type, hey guys, so this is the plan I want to go with. I have this macro. Remember to turn on.
People made specific macros for specific things. People had macros like 8 pages long explaining everything at the beginning of the match. Like I was probably one of those people before I just said fuck it because people don't listen to macros. But yeah, even still, like you could get a little bit specific in your strategy. Yeah, I remember that. Those were good times.
Those were good times.
Yeah.
And then another thing we have here, players will be matched irrespective of Grand Company requirements while in a party. So basically, you don't even need to think about turning on the freelancer option when you're in a party at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the leader doesn't have to do it. It's automatic. Just for the love of God, just go do away with this freelancer bullshit and just make it so it's just that you're always a freelancer. Just stop giving people the option, all right? You don't have any respect for the batters. You don't have any respect for the male stomp. You don't have any respect for the mortal flames. Just fuck it. You're PvPing, all right? That's the end of it. You're PvPing. Now get in there and die to the bard. That's it. That's all you need. All right. Next thing, drop rates for the Sophic Lantern Whistle and Demonic Lantern Whistle have been increased. But they only gave us the 99 totems for Sophia, because apparently it's too early to give Zervin.
When do you think we're going to get it?
3.56. I think 3.56 will have the ability. At some point before the expansion, they always talk about how there's all these tiny minor patches with things. One of the minor patches prior to 4.0, I feel you'll be able to trade those Zervin totems.
Yeah, I'm really not doing a lot of bird farming right now.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
I'm too busy working on that money. 111 mil now, Sly.
Oh.
Yeah, I did Aquapolis also, and I got 2 wool tops for 1.4 mil each. I got an Orchestrion roll for 2 million, 3 flannels for 340k a pop. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll be up there one day.
You'll be there soon?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, I believe. I can't wait.
Yeah, either.
Gardo gear can be purchased from the Calamity Salvager now. As long as you've earned one of the titles, you can buy all the left side gear. You can't buy the shields or the accessories or the belts or anything. It's just, I can't understand why you can't buy the invisible shield from the Calamity Salvager. I don't understand. But, that's that's their fucking decision. I guess maybe you don't need the shield to get the achievement. Maybe that's why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the Paladin achievement done, so I'm not exactly sure how it works. New items, new recipes, all that shit they're going to reveal Thursday. I guess it has. Yeah. I guess they're just afraid of it affecting stuff. New help text. You can get the Tidus and Yuna outfits now if you have them from the fan festivals. I have not gotten mine yet.
And if you don't know, all you do is just pretty much go to the Calamity Salvager and trade in your Dreams of Fate that you got from FanFest. That's it.
Yeah, it's the Calamity Salvager. A lot of people are asking what NPC it is. And it's the Calamity Salvager that you have to go to in order to purchase those items. It's an option that specifically says, like promotional deal or some shit like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Then you have the actual item that it mentions. We didn't even mention that Proto Ultima dropped 270 accessories earlier.
But we knew that.
But we knew it, yeah. And it's literally any accessory, like a ring, except for belts. No belts. Yeah. My favorite thing was seeing all of the tanks being like, a possibility for a new best in slot ring, yeah. Det parry, fuck you. You know how many warriors I woke up to today that were like, what do you do? Every warrior is like, okay, this is how Square Enix does itemization, all right? Here's this piece of gear. Mm-hmm. There's the accuracy, parry, skill, speed, crit, and determination that can go on this piece of gear. And random generate the first stat. First stat, critical hit rate. Awesome. All right. RNG button number 2. Determination. All right. Congratulations, guys. Enjoy this patch's itemization. Next patch, you might not be so lucky. So fuck you. I kind of agree with that. I begin to think that that's how they do. And then, like, after they've done a few of those, they, like, look at the last one and they go, you know what? We should probably do this one manually, because if it ends up like those, it's not going to be good. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's also the body piece, the Proto Ultima Mesh. Honestly, it was, for me, fucking more worth than half the other shit that I could have picked up.
I'm not picking up anything in Proto Ultima. It just...
No, just get the mesh. The mesh is glamour, dude.
No.
It's item level 150.
I don't even want to think about Proto Ultima.
I mean, you don't have to. You just go into Dunscaith. You don't even have to think about it. Just have the weekly quest.
No.
I did it. Come on. At least some of them are good. The Bard one's really good. The Bard, all the Bard stuff. It's like all. Though the ring, I think, is crit skill speed. So it's pretty decent.
Yeah, and maybe some of the 270 items out of Proto Ultima would be pretty good.
Oh yeah. And then the last few things we have on here, grade 5 materia can now be gotten for red crafter gatherer scripts. So those are capped weekly, but I imagine they'll still have some impact on what the prices are for those. They reduced the difficulty of getting the counterfoils and the receipts, and then they added custom deliveries into the crafting log. And that's pretty much 3.55A in a nutshell.
Don't even bother rating the patch.
Honestly, I kind of just wish they had just done 3.55 as one patch and said, you know what, Diadem was broken. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
But we already know why they're doing A, and they're a little bit behind on things, and that's understandable.
Well, I'm just saying, I personally, like, Proto Ultima would have been less of a problem for so many people if Diadem had been around to kind of, like, calm people. I say that, but if
you use Diadem to calm people,
yeah,
really?
You know what, maybe I should take that back. Because
yeah, exactly.
That, that may not be applicable. It may fuel the fire more depending on how it turns out.
Yeah.
I personally still would have preferred waiting 2 weeks and just getting 3.55 as one whole piece as opposed to splitting it into these two pieces. But that's just me. Whatever.
People want content.
People want content. That is indeed what people want.
Well, like I said, this for a light off-numbered patch. First part A patch that we ever gotten. Usually, normally light patches, the light patches we do get are a little bit more, I wouldn't say meaty because it's just a light patch, but it has a little bit more substance. This is a light patch that had nearly no substance, with the exception of Animal Quest, which takes 30 minutes. So even then, you can say further that this was just not even a patch in my opinion.
Just a tiny little thing to log in. Like, oh, these things I was already doing. Cool.
Yeah, I was looking forward to,
Cool.
Okay, maybe doing a day's worth of anima and then, go do Proto Ultima just for shits and gigs. And
still better than 3.1 at least. For me.
It's kind of comparable.
Listen, Diadem Lords of Verminion was pretty bad for a major patch.
It was kind of comparable.
3.1 felt like a 3.55A.
I actually would maybe put Lords of Verminion a little bit above this.
I can't, dude. I can't do it. Nope. Nope. 3.1 was Thornton, and that's it, as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a shit about the dungeons. Void Ark was a fucking pathetic excuse of a Tony Ford man. Like,
but still better than Proto Ultima.
Hey, you know what? Void Ark didn't give me best in slot accessories. All right. Proto Ultima does. That's the real MVP right there. All right. So, moving off of patch 3.55A, there's a few things in the current news that we want to talk about. We got the details for Little Ladies Day today. Everyone's favorite holiday. Is it your favorite holiday, Sly?
No.
Well, good thing, because it starts tomorrow. It starts tomorrow at 12 a.m.
I've never really gotten, among the seasonal events, there are some I just really skip past. I never really did the Little Ladies' Days in the past years.
I don't think I did it last year. I think I skipped it last year. But I mean, compared to the last thing, it's at least got more rewards. A lot more rewards.
Yeah, I looked at the rewards for this, and they do look pretty cool. So I might actually. I mean, one, you're getting an emote. You're getting.
Oh, I don't have to pay $7 for this one?
No.
No? This one's free? For now? It won't be
Freeze.
free next year. Next year it'll be $2, but it's free for now?
Yeah, it's all freeze.
It's a songbird. Oh, this is the emote where everyone, yeah.
Yeah, you look like you're being an
Yeah,
idol.
this is where they said dancer confirmed. That's this emote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You get a full set of armor. One is I think they are, yeah, one is all female, one is all male.
Mm-hmm.
It's dyeable, which is, you know, I know for glamour people out there, like being dyeable is like numero uno on your list. And then there's Eastern Cherry Petal Piles and Little Ladies Day advertisement furnishings. Now, my question is, the last event I was done with in 8 minutes. Will I be done with this event in 8 minutes?
Probably.
Probably.
They're like, again, I had never done Little Ladies Day. I don't know.
They will never outdo Halloween again, will they?
At this point,
Maybe
right now,
Halloween again. Maybe when Halloween comes back around.
Yeah, at this point, it's damn near impossible to top Halloween.
What time last year was the Gold Saucer event? What month? Make it
one-
rain. I'ma make it rain.
The murder mystery event.
Yeah, the murder mystery event. I want another murder mystery.
Me too. I think it was during summer. I want to say it was during.
Yeah,
summer.
it was sometime during summer. I just don't remember what months
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, that was a fun event. I like that.
Yeah, do more of that.
Do more of that. Speaking of the emotes, the $7 emotes, what do you think about $7 emotes? How do you feel about paying $7 to play dead? When you're a dragoon and you could do it for free.
Yeah. I've seen some people like play dead in Idleshire. I'm like, really? You actually?
I've seen like literally just like a line of dead people from the entrance of Idleshire, like to the ether. Like, new players, look, come this way. Man.
It goes back to FanFest. If you request it, the in-person will make it. As long as you buy it. Please buy it.
What would you do if the play dead emote became you know how you have the job emotes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're good? You don't want that?
Thanks.
What
Thanks,
about the backflip, though? I love the people's macros where they backflip and then die. I love that macro combination where it does the backflip. It's like Kevin Hart in the CIA movie with The Rock. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. It's a Kevin Hart emote. Inspired by Kevin Hart. Don't do this. No, come on.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why can't it be that? I just want to be a dragoon. He just wanted to be a dragoon. That's all he wanted. All right, so that's current news. Little Ladies Day is tomorrow. Get it done. Get your rewards. Get your achievement. Whatever it is you want to do it for, that's your opportunity to do it, is tomorrow. The final piece of information is a very interesting one that popped up yesterday, but the topic has kind of changed going into today. And a lot of you will know the story. Some of you will hear it for the first time. The community highlight is the player almost permabanned topic. Now, Sly, how do you pay for your subscription, or how do you purchase items on the Mog Station, preferably?
Card.
With a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may want to rethink that. So basically, the original post happened, I think, yesterday. Yeah, a day ago yesterday, where a player had basically a sort of credit card malfunction. The card they had on file didn't charge properly, and this is not the first time. I've seen plenty of forum posts. I've seen plenty of people talk about this before, where the credit card didn't charge properly, and to protect themselves, Square Enix will pretty much flag your account immediately for suspension. In most cases, permanent suspension. Sometimes it's just a 24-hour warning. A lot of the times it's a potential permanent suspension of your account, just to protect against either credit card fraud or any of those things. We have a player who posted on Reddit named Remix Sakura, who has been playing the game for over 3 years. They've made videos, they've organized community events, and this almost got them permabanned.
Do you think Square needs to rethink their
I think that they in light of this situation, they may have to, because that player was almost permabanned. Their account was technically flagged as permabanned. They called Square Enix. You know, they got a bunch of different support. They even got, I think they even said they got hung up on at some point, because let's see, called them every day in a month and a half since this happened. One of the risks of being permabanned. I've been hung up on by customer service twice, because they were just like, please, there has to be something you could do. And the generic customer service people just hung up because, couldn't work with the person, which is reasonable because the person doesn't want their fucking account to be permabanned. Right. All because of this credit card issue. But the good news is, a day later, originally this was going to be all we spoke about yesterday. Mm-hmm. A day later, after thousands of comments, retweets, support from a bunch of people coming out, the person had their account unbanned today.
Good.
It took a hell of a lot of attention to get them unbanned at this point. Yeah. But it did indeed happen. They are now unbanned and can enjoy the game. They removed the faulty card that caused the issue in the first place, and they are now strictly purchasing Krista.
Yeah, after that, I would probably move towards Krista too. I've done Krista before. Yeah, Krista's a good system. Now that you tell me this, and yeah, like it's a cautionary tale, and one that Square Enix possibly needs to read and listen to. I imagine that they have already talked about it. If you're doing good customer service, you probably would have already talked about this and kind of.
I don't think in 24 hours they've actually done anything on the back end other than maybe someone from Square Enix seeing this, maybe Kahuna, maybe Matt, maybe some. All I guarantee you is just someone made a call, and that was it, and they got this account unbanned. Because let's be perfectly clear, this is, like I said, this has happened to many people over the years. And calling for support has not helped those people too.
I've had a hard time, maybe a year or so ago. I forgot what the support issue was, but just trying to kind of navigate towards support, the number, the
it's awful.
Person, it's awful. I was transferred so many times. I didn't I thought I called the wrong number or something. It felt like I called the wrong number. But yeah, trying to navigate through support, if you have any type of issue, it just feels, no pun intended, it feels sloppy.
That's not even a pun. That's a reference.
Yeah.
There you go. But that person is not satisfied with just being unbanned because they want the system to change. And I honestly,
I would too.
I want it too, which is why I'm bringing it up on this show to give it a little bit more visibility. They specifically have requested that if somebody can, ask it at the Q&A at PAX East coming up about this exact topic. Now, that's if they do the same format. Last time at PAX East, we were able to actually get questions in as a crowd. That's how we got Peaches, which I hope someone asks about Peaches at PAX East as well.
No.
It would be good to get this, if it's not already immediately in front of Naoki Yoshida, because here's the thing, Naoki Yoshida isn't somebody who works on this part of Square Enix. This is not his responsibility. But for him, his game's reputation gets hurt when shit like this happens. Like the game that he pours his lifeblood into, its reputation is hurt because of this. Some people will straight up blame Final Fantasy 14, or they'll just blame the company, and 14 is under that, and it's something he has absolutely no power of. Over.
I'm so glad that he actually continued. The person actually continues to play the game. It would really deter me if shit like this happened.
And it deters a lot of people.
Yeah, it's easy for someone to get deterred and just say, "Fuck it, I quit." I can't deal with this. Even if they rectify the situation, everything's good in the end, you get unbanned. Like, some people would just give up and just not play and just cancel their sub outright. But I'm glad that he's actually bringing attention to this rather than, fuck this shit, I'm going home. He's bringing attention to this in a good way, and you and I as part of the community, like, I would implore anyone who's going to PAX or any even if they don't ask it at PAX, like, for any other live letters or anything, please submit this question. It can only help us. It really can't hurt us.
You got our back. You got the community. Definitely, community has anyone's back who has to deal with this stuff. Some people even unsubbed just to send a message after reading this. Just like, fuck you. You're gonna fuck this guy. I'm gonna fuck you too. Here you go. That's pretty much in a nutshell. And you know what? I have had my fair share of issues with Square Enix support, but most of them when I played 11, because I would call Square Enix. Actually, I think you had to call Play Online support specifically, not even Square Enix, or you had to call Square Enix and ask for Play Online support. I don't even fucking remember. Anyway, moving on. I had to fucking Google the phone number because I couldn't find it on the website. That's how bad it was. And I called one time, and I don't have my fucking original product keys for activation. I could give them literally every other piece of information on the account, but this one guy refused. He said, I will not reset your password. Because I had forgotten it, because I hadn't played in like 2 months maybe, and I was like, I thought this was my password, and it wouldn't work. And he refused, because I didn't have that one piece of information to prove that I owned the game.
So how did you meander around?
I called back and got a different fucking person who actually did something. That was literally my way around it. But even just that level of inconsistency is like kind of not good. And it seems like it just hasn't gotten any better over the years.
Now, customer service is handled in-house or out of house?
I'm pretty sure they just hire random people who don't know anything about the product outside of what they're taught.
Maybe that's the issue right there.
Yeah.
That's a really huge issue in my opinion. If people don't know about the product, don't give a damn about it, but they give a damn about your situation.
Nope. Sometimes they're just gamers that like get it, and that's when you're lucky. But when you just get the person who just took the job because it was fucking tech support and they needed a job, yeah, that's the worst when you end up getting that.
Yeah.
So revamp Square Enix. We want you to take a good hard look at this system for Final Fantasy XIV and make sure that these false positives don't get so out of hand, because they've been out of hand for a while and they've kind of just slid. But now there's big stories out there. You got to put some action out there. All right. That's what you got to do, Square Enix, so make it happen. On that note, though, I think we have finally come to a close for the show. Sly.
Yeah.
Yay! So next week, Sly. Next week is the week
we get to talk about something other than 3.55A.
Well, we don't know what next week. What I'm thinking, I don't know what the current plan is, because Ethis is kind of on a plane right now to Los Angeles, I believe. Yeah. So I don't know what his availability is next Tuesday. So I'm still working on a show plan for everyone watching. I would really like to take the world map and analyze it at some point, go over the different names, the different things we know about the different regions, and start gearing up. And then the following week is a PAX East overview, and then we'll probably have 3.55B the following Tuesday. So we've got a few shows planned back to back for everyone here. Just next week is still kind of up in the air depending on what Ethis' availability is. Arizivia will not be until the second half of the 3.5 story.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure a show will magically appear somewhere.
Oh, we always magically make shows appear when we need to.
Definitely.
And then my glasses will disappear when I... Come on. Where's the lighting? There it is. All right. But anyway, Sly, why don't you tell them where they could find you at and what you have planned starting tomorrow?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox. You can find me on Instagram at Slyakagreyfox07. You can find me on Twitter at Slythefox. You can find me on YouTube, /The Velvet Room. You can find me on Behemoth Plot 14, Ward 5 of the Lavender Beds on 14. But, yeah, about that. Starting tomorrow, I will be doing Countdown to the Heist, which is basically a month of nothing but percent. starting from Persona 1, going up into Persona Golden, leading up to the release, hopefully if it doesn't get pushed back again, of Persona 5. So there will be a lot of Persona-centric giveaways. There will be Persona-centric anime night. It is going to be fun as fuck. Like, I've been working on a lot of stuff, really late nights just to get everything ready for this. So, yeah, definitely feel free to come by. If you have any questions or wanted to know about Persona, or hype, if you're hyped for P5 or anything, feel free to come by.
I have one major question, Sly.
Okay.
Will you play King's Game with the stream?
I could do that.
And you have to wear like the shirt,
jacket.
The jacket. You don't have. You can't open your shirt because it's Twitch, but you can at least have the collar go up and get some King's Game going.
Yeah, I need to get some chopsticks too. I can do that.
Yeah, you definitely need to get yourself some chopsticks for the King's Game. Yeah. All right, and I am your other host, Michael, Mr. Happy Povromo, Mr. Happy 1227, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, all the good things, YubTubs, you know how it goes. I'm not doing a Persona month, but I am planning on playing either Persona 3 or 4 just prior to the launch. It's gonna be tough though, dude, because like
that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be hard on you
look
because
at the launch.
I'm giving up a lot of stuff in the month of March.
Horizon Zero Dawn came out today. Breath of the Wild is Friday. Nier is next. Well, technically, I could play Nier now, but right. Nier is next week on both PC and PS4. In the other regions of the world. Then you have friggin' Mass Effect Andromeda on the 21st. You have the Diadem probably on the 7th or the 14th. You have Episode Gladiolus. You have Episode Gladiolus for Final Fantasy 15 on the 28th. You have Kingdom Hearts on the 28th. You have probably 3.5 Part 2 is either going to be on the 21st and the 28th most likely. What's the other one I'm missing?
Ringed City for Dark Souls
Ringed City for Dark Souls 3 is on the 28th. What the fuck?
I'm giving up a lot of shit to do this. Like, a lot of those things will be guilty pleasure games that I will play off stream or myself. Because the following week...
No, you won't. You're going to grind in Persona.
The following week after I'm done with, like, P4... P5 hits. I'll be on that for God knows how long.
It's going to be a crazy month, guys. So hopefully all you gamers out there, and then Persona 5 in the first week of April. So, supposedly. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right, the spin-offs from Persona month. Yeah, he doesn't need to play Ultimax. Anyway, or Q. You don't need to.
No,
or Dancing All Night.
I could do Dancing
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Hey, wait.
You don't need to. All right, we're done. All right, there you go. All right, I'm going to pretend you don't exist right now. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. And until then, take care.
Good night, everybody.